Today's scriptures really hit home for us. We need to hear Isaiah's good news. We are really ready for good news. This year has been hard. And now, with Christmas and the holiday season, there are more challenges coming our way. Our celebrations will not be the same as usual. We are not going to have community gatherings around the tree on the green. We will not sing carols with our church family by candlelight. But as a growing movement says, hope has not been canceled. God promises good things to those who wait. And even though we may feel as if we've waited long enough, even though we're anxious to receive these good things, the time is not here yet. So, how do we live in hope when we are growing tired of the waiting? Well, we can pace ourselves. We can find things to look forward to each day, small things perhaps that bring us joy, or at least things that make us smile a little. I have an advent calendar this year with a small chocolate for each day leading up to Christmas. And the tiny chocolates are shaped like presents or bells or angels, and they make me smile. So that's something that just kind of lifts my heart for a moment each day. Advent calendars are great when you're dealing with children who continually ask, "Is it Christmas yet?" You can make a little ritual of opening a square a day and noting how many are left until Christmas, urging patience. Just a couple more weeks, and soon, just a few more days. The frustrating thing about what we're dealing with this year is that we don't know when it will be over. Maybe if there was a calendar with a square to open each day until we can gather with our friends in church again, this might help. We want to know when we will reap in joy. Frankly, we are tired of sowing in tears. I remember learning from one of my teachers, though, that tears are a form of holy water. When we were in Ireland, Gary and I visited many holy wells where people prayed for healing and release from whatever pain they were carrying. Often the tears of the pilgrims who came to these wells for healing mixed with the waters as they prayed. And that mixing of tears with the holy water made the wells ever more sacred. With Isaiah, we can see hope on the horizon, but it's not here yet. The vision that both Isaiah and the psalmist paint is one of hope, of joyful possibilities, of promises fulfilled. The vision they offer is meant to comfort us and to encourage us when we're going through tough times. And I think there's something more as well. You may have noticed that the candle we lit today, and the candle lighting was really fun watching Brody do that for us. But the candle we lit today was pink. All the other candles for Advent are purple until we get to the Christ candle, which is white. Advent is meant to be celebrated a little bit like Lent. That's why the purple color. It's seen as a season of repentance or of considering your life and determining how to change yourself, your life, the choices you make in order to be fully ready for the coming of the Christ child. The third Sunday of Advent breaks into this period of repentance with a spark of joy, reflecting on Mary's joyful declaration in her Magnificat. The pink candle represents this joy. The thought is that if Mary could find joy in the challenges of her life and her situation, then we ought to be able to scrounge up some joy as well. It embarrasses me that I'm so easily caught off guard by some of the challenges I've faced in these past months. Maybe you feel the same. When that happens, I remind myself I have a warm home. I have a loving family whom I can see through the wonders of technology. I have plenty of delicious food to eat. I appreciate that I get to live and walk in the beauty of this amazing land. And yet, I also feel that emptiness of what is not possible right now. Maybe you have a similar dialogue with yourself every now and then. In this Advent season, it's especially important for us to have that dialogue and to get ourselves to kind of turn our thinking around so that we really do keep hope and joy in our sights. This is part of the work of Advent. We have to figure out ways of letting go of what used to be and opening our arms and our hearts to what is possible. There's joy in this. It's a joy that Isaiah and the psalmist promised. It's a joy that Mary fully embraced and lived. And my prayer is that we might do the same. I'm going to close with a wonderful prayer poem that my friend and colleague, Steve Garnes Holmes, wrote. And I invite you to pray with me. These are hard days, O God, but joy is bigger than these days. Joy is not happiness with present circumstances, but harmony with the goodness of God and the overflowing of God's delight in us. Joy includes the universe and all its beauty and sorrow. Joy dances with gratitude. Joy plays with hope, which is trust in the unseen. Joy sings with love, which is self-giving for another. Who is the self? A return to wholeness. What joy! Yes, people are suffering and others don't care, but some do. Rejoice. You can rejoice during a pandemic. You can give thanks at a funeral. You can be joyful in prison. You can lament suffering and injustice and rejoice. For joy is the healing of broken hearts, the breaking of chains, the opening of graves, the coming of God. Christ does not come to make us happy, but to stand with us in the pain of life until joy, like a seed, rises. All is swallowed up in joy.